pages.
Can we talk about advertising?
Yes.
Because I am not familiar with it at all.
I have not done any personally, but I have explored it and I've taught it, so I will do my best. Has anyone done any advertising on Facebook? You have?
And I've done promoted pages, and I've done the ones on the side, the sides. I found the ones on the sides didn't really do an awful lot for me. You know, trying to cultivate a local, town-wide Facebook page, and so, you know, right there where you sit in that budget is where it comes from. You know, so you can actually select where you want to go with it. It guarantees you a certain amount of looks. So if you have something that you really think is of interest to a lot of people, which you find, I mean, I for example, I live in Long Meadow, and it's all about Long Meadow, and tearing down the old high school. And I put a 1-minute video clip up, and I promoted it. Actually, I didn't promote it on that one, but I had like 5,000 views on it. All right, because everybody who ever went to Long Meadow High School or ever saw things wanted to see it. There's only a 1-minute clip. It took me all of about 5 minutes as I stopped by the high school, pick my camera, and take it and put it up on Facebook. But the kinds of things I've done. We planted a new Christmas tree on the green. I took a picture the first night it was lit. I must have had 7,500 views. I promoted it, all right, and it went all over the world, actually. I mean, people who don't live in the country anymore sent it to their friends who live in Germany or whatever else, and so it went all over the place. So
and that was for advertising.
And that was for advertising, and I paid probably $5 for it, and it guarantees you that price thing keeps changing. All right, if you look there, it says $10, and it'll get you
8 to 75 likes per day.
See, but I don't. Mine doesn't show up as likes. All right, mine will show up as how many views, or how many, and it won't guarantee me I'll get 75. I'd like to see some of that kind of stuff show up because
I'm interested because that's.
I've never seen that show up as likes. And they keep changing, and they keep changing the price tag on to see what I'm going to go after. If I decide $5 okay, they'll move it up to $10. All right, on the next time I look at it. So it's not always the same price tag that goes with it, and they have different. They have and usually it's by the number of views or impressions, all right? They'll guarantee me 5,000 impressions for $10, all right?
So is this where, sometimes when I'm reading my updates and that, all of a sudden there's something about, say, East Long Meadow School, and because...
It says sponsored next to it.
Yeah, and it wants you to like it.
But I can do it as, I want to send it to all my fans. I mean, I have 500 some odd fans. I can send it to all my fans, or I can send it to all my fans plus all of their friends. So, the reach gets pretty dramatic, but it's easy for them to get, because they have a higher population when they're doing friends of fans, all right? So, and again, it changes all the time in terms of what, and I think they're just looking to see what I'm willing to pay. I mean, I think that's what they said. They don't know what the price tag on these things is going to be, what the value is, and so they're out there testing the people who are willing to pay.
So for business purposes, like I'm a graphic designer, I'll put in the printer's name, and all their friends would be other needs for graphic design and that kind of thing. So that's where the advertising comes in.
And you see it's normal page.
Oh, the audience. So I see where it gives you suggestions on who you want your audience to be.
Oh, and
yeah, the audience right there.
So you click on that next to Northampton, and
So you have a
different suggestions right there.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
See, Kelly, you
Their
get a different page than I do. I don't see that.
Yeah.
Well, do you have a group or a page?
I have a fan page, all right, and that I'd love to see because that lets me do geography, all right. I only want people within 25 miles. I don't want to pay for people in California, and I want people's friends who live in the area, not people.
So what's their definition of near Massachusetts?
No, but it's usually geography by number of miles, 25 miles or 50 miles. And now that's
the same thing.
That's interesting that yours is different than.
Now that may be. Oh, you know what? This is probably is this advertising or is this?
This is ad.
Yeah, that's advertising. That's why I find it interesting.
But it says promote page. I've done the advertising where I get this kind of
yeah, but see now
kind of graphics, and I can tell.
Went up here and I said build audience. It says create an ad. So I'm like, maybe that's different, but it's the same thing. So that's weird because do you know how many fans you have roughly?
525.
Okay, so not too many more than I. So I was thinking maybe if you had a lot, there was why, but.
But I mean, I'd like to see I'll pay $10 to get 8 to 69 likes.
that's $10.
Well, that's like those are likes. Those aren't fans.
So it doesn't seem cost effective.
Depends. I mean, like that's one price, so you can go less. 4 to 35 likes for $5 a day. I don't think people run ads for a long period of time like they might do.
I was going to say, how do you can stop it whenever you want.
But Kelly, the other thing I get is I have a budget. I mean, typically mine show up not per day. They show up. I'll pay $10 as part of the budget, and they'll run it as long
until they get the number of views.
Until the-
It could be a
Oh,
week.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you know what I'm finding
So
here?
they're targeting you because you might be someone who might be willing to pay,
I
and you do probably.
won't.
No?
I won't advertise on Facebook because my business is word of mouth and.
But it's interesting how they
How they
look-
change it.
Well, they change it to who the person is and what they're.
Right.
You know,
It's weird,
what-
and this is something I'm learning too, because it's clear that you could all go to your pages right now, and we might all have different things that they're trying.
Right.
Facebook is tricky, because they like to do what they think, so they might actually be doing market testing on all of us right now. when we make
Yeah.
ads.
Might
So-
be.
How many different pages are
Of course they
there?
are.
Personal, there's a personal
Probably
page, a
these
fan page, business page?
And a group page, there's
A
all
fan
group
page and a
pages too.
fan page and a business
Yeah,
page.
pages are pages, so
Oh.
you could be,
Oh,
you know, an idol fan, like a baby Lady Gaga or something, and that's the same kind of thing as my page.
They're-
It's the same
I think-
stuff.
I think the way I always describe, people don't understand what's going on, is you have friends, fans, and members,
Yes.
all right? Members being groups.
Members are in groups, yeah.
Groups.
Because I run
All
a
right,
group.
and you can have fans, and then you can have friends, all right? So, I don't want you to be my friend, I want you to be my fan, kind of deal, depending upon if it's a business page. All
oh,
right?
if it's,
And
okay.
that's the terminology when you're there, and you can actually tell on a page, if it says number of friends, you know you're on a personal page.
So
Now,
if
a lot
it-
of businesses will set it up as a personal page for their business, which doesn't work real well in terms of the way it ought to be
That's- yeah,
done.
I'm starting something new, so I want
Yeah.
proofreading, which can be all over the country, so, I would go to a business, and do they have like, how to build a business page right on there?
There's tutorials all over
Yeah,
Facebook,
Yeah.
so
It walks you right through it.
they're really
yeah.
good about it.
Okay,
If you go to the help center and just look up stuff, it's great. You guys familiar with the demographics?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's-
yeah, okay. So that's helpful to see how it's going. You know, I mean, that's easy enough. It's kind of, I like it because it really does the job of, you know, Google Analytics here. So not as.
Go back to that, right at the top, that 168,000 is the reach of Kelly's page, because of her 4,100 fans have that many friends, so it's a multiply of 1 times the other gives you the total reach.
Huh.
Those kind of numbers, and if you follow these trends and insights, it's really good, because you can tell how well you're doing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I'll get a spike, and I know what's the one I put up, all right, and you can see those stats are not one to not lose sight of, because
Right.
it tells you what you're doing. It gives you kind of a
It's
roadmap.
interesting to see what kind of stuff actually gets put up and what gets liked and what spikes, because, you know,
You do more of the same, keep doing more of the same, because you know what your
People like
audience.
a joke or like a funny post or something.
Right,
put
right.
up, And then they won't like, if I spend time on an insightful thing, and it's like, okay, that's what I'm here for.
Sometimes they may not be seeing it though. Like,
Right.
that's what I was finding out, is people aren't seeing all the posts
I know.
that are out there.
Yes,
So can you just
yes.
speak more to that, what you and your knowledge have found to be effective in terms of where to place the ad and how to place the ad?
Mhm. I mean, I haven't, again, done the
Yeah, I
advertising, but
understand.
my belief is that, like, I'm just gonna go back to the feed here, because this is what a normal user sees. I'm gonna hide this again. Okay, so, what I find, and chime in, people, if you have done
Oh,
advertising.
Tish, that's my friend Tish.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
If I find that this side stuff, this sponsored stuff, I don't even look at it anymore. It's blind to me. It's usually uninteresting things to me, so I don't bother with that. What I don't really like it, but it's probably effective if it's the right thing and the right audience, is the actual feed, sponsored ads. They're kind of annoying when it's, you know, things that you don't really care about, but maybe if there's something that is interesting, it's helpful, and it certainly gets in the face of a lot of people, so that's great, but I think in the way of visibility, that's much better than this, because this is, oh, that's like when you sign into email and it's the size ad, you never look at them.
So how do you get an ad to appear in the feed side?
That's a very good question.
What's the-
I don't know, do you have?
Yeah, that's the sponsored stories, that's where they'll show up, and you'll see, I don't know if you go through your
So you
news
can't
feed.
choose?
Can't choose what?
You can't choose to have it here or in your.
Yeah, you can.
You can.
And one is an ad, all right, that shows up there, and I've done those, I don't find those to be very effective.
No.
And the ones in your feed,
Yeah.
all right,
I'm
show
looking
up, and Facebook is basically guaranteeing you a certain number of views.
and so what do they call them, not ads, what do they call them?
Well, they're ads, I mean,
Oh.
it's sponsored stories is what,
Oh,
if
sponsored.
Kelly goes through here, she might find one that's a sponsored story
I'm
that,
looking.
in her news feed, all
Just
right.
because I look for it, I can never find it.
Right.
But the other thing that's really important to understand about, you know, these pages, her news feed is, if she's a fan of a page, doesn't mean she's gonna see it.
only about 15% of, you know, if I have a fan page, only 50, my fans don't see all my posts.
Yeah.
And only about 15%, 10 to 15% actually see, if I put something on my fan page, only 10 to 15% see that.
Because then you
Alright.
have to go directly to your fan page to see
And they'll
it?
have to go directly to my fan page to see it, because that's what, because the way Facebook does is it depends upon the number of interactions. If you had an interaction with my page so many times, they're gonna put it in your feed, because they know you're interested in it. If you have never interacted, or none of your friends have interacted, it probably won't show up. And the only way you get that is turning on the notifications that we were looking at before. Notifications means that you see everything that happens on any one of the fan pages that you become, that you're connected to.
Can you believe I'm inspired? I wanna have yet to get mad. I usually
That's
have them
so
all
weird, yeah.
the time.
What, you mean sponsored stories?
Yes.
I'll have to send you one.
Oh my gosh.
And you're advertising
Yeah.
specific
Yeah.
things, not just look at my page in
No,
general.
I have say I have a story, all right, and one of the things I'm trying to do, I think my Facebook page is to try to cultivate a community of people that want to see what I'm doing, all right?
Yeah.
Not so much, I'm not looking so much for business, but business comes along with it, all right? So it's not all about me, it's all about Long Meadow that I'm doing,
Yeah.
okay? And so, if I have a story like this high school demolition, I know there's a lot of people out there interested in seeing that, I will sponsor that, so that it goes all over the world, all right? And, you know, I'm not trying to narrow it down to only people who live 25 miles around, I'm looking at people in California, whatever, just try to develop a community and a following to increase my fan page, the numbers, all right? And it takes a long time, you know, in terms of,
So again, to like my situation where I want to get more proofreading jobs, why would I get a fan page if people would have to go directly to that, not a
no, they
feed?
won't, once they become a fan, all right, that shows up in their news.
So I have to ask people to be fans.
Yeah, that's the thing you're trying to cultivate. You're trying to put information, like, if you go to Adobe, for example, which might be close to you, Adobe puts also, I'm a fan of Adobe, all right, because they put a ton of stuff about how to use Photoshop and all sorts of other things. I want to be a fan, they're feeding me information,
Right.
all right? I might buy their product, all right, so it's kind of an indirect, it can't be, you provide some information, and I want those shown up my feed. I interact with them, they show up all the time, and I put notifications when Adobe is putting something out there on a new product, I'll see it. Same way you're going to try to cultivate, and you might actually take it from someplace else. You might find something on Adobe, post it up on your fan page, all right, that's basically a link
That
to
would
it.
be a good way.
I mean, I do a lot of stuff with Mass Live, all right, for example.
Sure.
You know, I use other people's reporting, it's sharing other people's information. In fact, Mass Live will put stuff up 3 days, sometimes before it shows up in the hard copy. And I'll put it up on my fan page, and it'll be there 3 days before it shows up in the paper that lives in people's newspaper, in people's driveways.
How do you, like, if there is an article, say, in the Gazette or
Yeah.
in whatever, and you
Yeah.
want to put it into your feed, how do you do
You
that?
just take the link, you put it up in your status, and automatically it drives it, it'll put a
Yeah.
photograph and everything else for you, and give you the whole deal. And you can put a title and say, this is something interesting about somebody.
Yeah,
I do
somebody
that all the
in town.
time.
It's
Yeah,
it's
Here, I can do
awesome,
something
and that's
now,
what
I'll show you.
cultivates you.
That's
You're a
that's what I-
collector.
Yeah, so you just do their link, take it from the top.
You can see on some of these things here, like,
Right,
like
see
you see
how
those, see how they come in, they're coming in because they're putting a link, and sometimes I'll use a bit.ly.
You
so
can
there's
also
some-
do like hit the share, and then you could do it there too.
So here,
right?
so I clicked on this link from PodCam, I'm in this next panel, next session.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna just share here,
Share.
and then it's choice on your timeline, on a friends, in a group, or on your page.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
anywhere.
Okay.
Group 2, then you choose which page if you have more than one. So I picked that one, I'm gonna say
and you can put a header on it.
excited to, can I spell?
I probably got spell check.
Oh my gosh,
Now.
isn't
It
that the
saves me
greatest
so
invention
Yeah.
On here? It's about time.
Or if it's a news story and you're just in a page for, you know, I don't know, firefighter, save the day or something, and you just copy and paste the link at the top
But just
and
like,
put it into your status. You just copy and paste it right in the status.
Okay.
And like you said, it
Is it-
automatically.
Did you
Did
just
you
picture
copy
and
and paste the
everything will come up?
PodCamp? Is that how you get the PodCamp into that sentence? Is you
Oh,
just
I
copy and paste
tagged
it?
them. It's the event, I tagged
Oh,
them.
okay.
Yep, so.
So you tagged it, okay. I was wondering if you just copy and paste it and it'll still show up.
oh yeah, copy and paste will work.
Oh, see, look,
Oh,
there's
the
my
link.
comment.
So funny.
And if you look what she's got, there it is,
So
and
here
it
it
has a
is.
picture.
I just shared it.
Yeah.
Now, you did the picture as
I
opposed to a
just
link,
shared the whole picture that he posted, yeah.
but you could have done
Could
a
have taken a
web
link,
page or
yeah.
whatever else, and typically we'll put a thumbnail with it, particularly on things like Mass Live or New York Times or
Right.
anything else, they'll put a nice thing for you, and it actually shows it.
And the second line there where it says, can't wait for the personal branding panels, was what he originally wrote. My comment is on top. So you
Yeah.
see, that's what I said about the comments. So, and sometimes it says via whoever, usually if it's a link, it doesn't say it here, but if share, sometimes it'll say, who posted it last, it'll say like, via Alfonso Santinello. and then you can check or uncheck the box. So like if it's from like a big 100,000 likes type thing, I usually remove it because no one cares, but I like to give credit when it's people I know and all that stuff. Or if it's something that I know is proprietary of someone, I'll do that too. So, but
Can you talk about what you shouldn't
what you shouldn't share,
share, or what you shouldn't post on your
it
page?
depends on what you're trying to sell. Hey, don't share him.
He's
Come in. You can come in. Oh,
You gonna go to bed?
Come
on.
So what you should share depends on your brand and what you're trying to sell. There are some things out there that like lists from different links online that say like the worst social media fails of all time, and their companies made some big mistakes with their advertising. It's just like advertising before the internet. It's the same thing. Would you put an ad out that really can speak to what you're trying to say, what your message is? So I don't, what? No, I don't.
No, it's not.
No,
It looks very.
no, this is my page.
I know, but it looks different.
It's because she's got the
I
graph
see
search
my
at the
calculator has
top.
arrived. So, but what I say is, like, I am not afraid, because of what I do, my business is really promoting confidence. So a lot of times I'll put things up that might be controversial to some people, and I'll show you one right now. I got a little bit of, well, it was from my mom, so that's, a different story. I put this picture up that I found somewhere else, and she is a girl who put up a picture of herself like this because she wanted to show you that this is beautiful, and you don't have to be a twig, you don't have to be airbrushed and all this, and this is her, she is a student at NYU. And I thought, my God, that is confidence right there, so why would I not share that on my page, because to me that's what it's all about.
Right.
So, but then, there's gonna be some people that are like, oh, she's practically naked, and all this stuff, and it's like, that's not the point. That's not the point.
Photo though.
I know.
It's not.
I know, but that's, they don't get it, like, I can't explain it to the people that don't understand that, so I don't. I'll tell you, it's a funny story, like this, the one next to her is the start of my presentation that I do. That's one of my most popular talks that I do, is Embracing Your Inner Diva. My designer made the little girl there, the sex bomb or whatever. But what I explain that to be is, it's not about selling sex or anything about that. What I'm saying by that is my inner diva. That is how I feel inside. So I think that it shines outside of me. So, but I did a talk for a group of women that a lot of them are like over 60, So I had this up on the screen and they were like, what is this pornography? And it's just, you don't know your audience, so you really have to think about who's seeing it and who do you want to see it and what is the audience that you want to get the desired result from. So, I may not be popular initially with the 60 crowd, but maybe once they see it, they warm up to the fact because I have to explain it. So I might spend some time doing that. I was promoting the talk I did this week, so that's why I put it up there. And then also it was a link to click on my presentation so you can easily see them and see what I'm all about. So, yes?
I was here last year and I haven't really done anything else with Twitter, but do you still post on your Facebook and Twitter at the same time?
I separate them now.
You separate them?
I do, and the reason
Like
is
with
because
TweetDeck or?
I use all three clients as they are. Like I go on to Twitter mostly either through my phone or online. And I stopped tweeting everything I tweeted to my Facebook because I felt that it was, sometimes I want to vent on Twitter, and I never vent in a bad, negative way, but sometimes the people on Facebook don't need to see
Different
that.
purposes.
Yeah, so it goes by so fast on Twitter that I could just say something and it's gone like.
So rather than the automatic post, you do it
Right.
separately.
Now, that being said, my page does tweet out to my Twitter. So because I don't post a lot on my page, but the things I post are very relevant to my brand on Twitter. So that's why I'm like, yes, let's
You've
do
got
that.
that automatically going to Twitter?
You can
Yes.
send,
And how do you do that?
I'll show you.
you just got my attention.
All right, let's see if I can find this. It's been a while since I've done it, so,
You do it through Facebook or through some other app?
through Facebook.
Yeah.
But it's from your page, not from your personal Facebook.
Well, that's
You
what I was
can't do it
thinking,
from your
business
personal
page,
page.
business
Personal
You
page.
can?
I think it's,
If you allow.
is it through Facebook or is it through Twitter?
there's some Twitter,
It must be through Twitter, right? 'Cause
No,
I
it's
think
an
anywhere
app.
on
It's an
Facebook.
app on Facebook,
What
that's
was
all.
the-
So
what's the question?
Oh, is
How
there?
you can tweet from a page or your Facebook
you
profile
have to
on
search
Twitter.
for the Twitter
I
app
think it's
on
account settings,
Facebook.
I think it's.
Create an app, maybe?
It's an app.
So maybe under create an app,
I
or
think
no,
it's an app.
manage app.
No, you don't want to create an app,
So
that's.
then you can set
Manage
up
app?
your personal or the fan page to tweet out automatically.
Good stuff. You should have Twitter there.
It was there.
Past Twitter.
There.
So
What
if
the
you
heck
edit-
was it?
That's one of
if
your,
you edit those settings, that's where
oh, that's cool, that really,
control it.
yeah.
Wiggles page? What the, oh, Wiggle, oh, that's my dog.
Where is it? Where is it? Stop. God, I hate these settings. They're awful.
You have to access your,
The app sends you a notification.
What's a sandbox mode?
I might have to go to the app itself.
it just is a proxy that goes back to your Twitter profile. You have to click on that, go to your Twitter profile.
This?
Yes. And then you sign in, and then.
I haven't done this in a while, you guys.
Okay, so you go to Twitter to get the Facebook.
So you do have to go to Twitter?
You have to go to.
To get
I
to
think
the-
that's what he's saying.
Yeah, it's just a proxy to allow them both to interact.
Here it is.
To have access,
So you
yeah.
go to the Twitter
It
app,
allows the access.
and then you go to your Twitter settings, and down at the bottom it says Facebook. And if it's not there, you'll say connect to Facebook. And then it'll ask, would you like to post from your personal profile, or would you like to post from a page? Select your page, and there it is. So you see my icon there, and then there's me. That's how it works, so.
That's-
Yep, that's what I want.
That's actually a nice, that's a nice feature, you know, that
Yeah.
you're doing from
It's
Facebook,
helpful. It's
the other
helpful.
way, rather than,
And I do it a lot for like Westfield State and different groups that I belong to and do social media for, so for them it's easy because you just want the information to go out. And because your posts on Facebook can often be obviously longer than 140 characters, it just automatically sends a short URL out and then it clicks and it brings you right to the Facebook page. So that's nice because then you get your exposure.
the Facebook page or actually the
Whatever you
post,
link it to,
whatever the
so,
post
yeah,
is.
so if you're, but like, obviously if you're, tweeting or posting from your personal page and it's on Twitter, and they click on it, and they're not your friend or anything, then it's gonna just bring it up to, you're not friends with whoever added as a friend, so you have to be careful with that. That's why a page is better, because then you can just, they can like your page, and there's, you have to wait for.
It's a way to gather, people follow you on Twitter, yeah.
Yep, so.
So I went there where it says connect to Facebook, right?
Mhm.
But it says post tweets to your Facebook profile or page. I want the opposite.
You want the opposite.
If I click that, is it gonna give me a choice of?
See what happens. You can always back out of it, so. The good thing is you can always change your settings. So, trial and error works great, but you gotta test it. You can't just assume, okay? So test, look, see what people are seeing, check it out. It's a lot of tweaking. I mean,
Yeah,
it really is.
it's telling me Twitter would also like permission to post on your behalf.
Yeah, so you
I
might
don't
have to
wanna
play
do
with it
that,
some more.
yeah.
I mean, you know what, add this part to your monthly check of Facebook security settings, because this is something that we wanna check. Like, I probably should have done this a long time ago, but because I looked at like years ago, and I didn't even, work, so I'm like, all right, I don't touch it. Not completely idea.
What
So,
is it that she wants to do? She wants to
I wanna have my Facebook post go to my Twitter.
try selective, that's
no, it's different.
the opposite.
I'll find out.
Using Twitter with Facebook, hang on, let me read.
I'll tweet my answer when I figure this out, so, yes. But anyways, I digress to the Twitter, so.
You definitely have to have the Twitter app on Facebook.
Yes,
You
you do have to have the app on
Okay.
Facebook,
There's
then
no
that's,
other way to do it, I think,
Okay,
all right.
that I know of.
So,
So how would you get the Twitter app on Facebook?
I don't have a Facebook account.
Okay, I have a Facebook account,
You type
and I have a
Twitter,
Twitter account.
you type.
So
Twitter
here,
on
I'll show you.
Facebook.
Search for it.
Show you.
Um,
You would search.
obviously, if you don't have the search, it's
Now
fine,
you
but
find the Twitter
see how it
app.
says Twitter app? That's what you want.
That's
Click
what
on
you-
that. To the app, and then it's that same thing again, so you just follow the,
But if you go to that
Prompts.
tutorial, see there's a tutorial
Yep.
check, you can,
Okay,
That one says
great.
post
Show you how
post
to
your
do
tweets to Facebook, as
Alright.
opposed to the other way around.
I'll find out, and I'm gonna
This says,
tweet everyone after.
if you
The
go
other-
to,
yeah,
the
I'm
other
curious.
reason why it might be kind of transparent is because if you have an iPhone, you can set up your Twitter and Facebook automatically if you have an iPhone.
I know it's
And that
possible,
way
because I
it's-
do it for a
It
lot of
kinda
pages,
automatically
so.
does itself.
if you go to facebook.com/Twitter,
If you post a
it brings you
photo-
right to a button that says link profile to Twitter.
Okay, let's
It's more
check that out.
transparent with iPhone.
Thank you. You guys are teaching me something today. Okay, here it is.
There it is, link, there it is.
Facebook.com/Twitter. Bookmark
Yeah, but
it.
you're linking, but isn't it gonna post on
Oh,
Facebook and not the other way
Facebook,
around?
Twitter.
Oh, no, it's Facebook, okay.
Twitter, yeah.
All right,
It's
here we go.
Facebook.com.
Say that again?
Facebook.com/Twitter. Now, you see how it says me and it says link to Twitter? That is my personal profile, and I don't want to do that. That's why it says link to Twitter, because it's telling me I'm not connected to it.
See, the other
You do
ones
not
are
see the
linked.
redheaded diva anywhere here because I already have it linked. So that's done.
But there's another, actually,
Or it's
scroll
down
down,
here,
there
it's
it is.
down here, so I'm already linked to Twitter.
So tell you how to.
And then it gives you the option to click status, photos,
Yes.
links, videos, notes.
Then I can unlink in the simple click of a button. I can edit my settings. See, it's the same for Westfield State Alumni. I've linked those. So these are all that are linked.
So if you edit the settings,
Want me to check edit settings to see what it looks like? It just checks off like what I would want. So if right now if I posted a video, it's not gonna go. So I'm gonna check that off because part of what I wanna do is add more video. So now everything's gonna go and I feel that's okay because I want everyone to see the awesomeness that I am. So, but that's how you do it. And it's gonna be every single page that you own. It's gonna show you the options, so.
It's actually a really cool app.
It's very cool.
Because it gets the Twitter without you spending any energy into it.
And I'm glad that the, the big head honchos at Facebook and Twitter were okay to play nicely together and do this because, sometimes they're like, oh, you're my competition, I don't like it. Well, clearly we all work together, so that's the beauty of social media, so. We only have about 5 minutes left because I don't have any other last minute questions.
What do you, when you're looking at your Facebook page and you're looking at metrics, what's important to you? What makes you feel like it's doing what it's supposed to do?
When I get a lot of feedback, when I get likes, when I
You
get,
get comments,
people
likes.
commenting, yeah. I find a lot of my stuff tends to get likes, not necessarily a lot of comments, because I think it's a quick thing, people read it and they're like, oh, I like that. Maybe they don't have anything to say about it, so, personally, I look at it and say, okay, well, maybe I need to have some more discussion-based things if I want more comments. So, it's really reinventing how I post. And
So you're not concerned about reach, you're concerned about the number of comments.
I'm more concerned about getting interaction. I feel like I have a good number of fans right now. I'm happy with that. I always would like more, but for free right now, that's good. And because this is like, this comes after my full-time job and all this stuff, it's good for now. When I become, this becomes something that's a little more mainstream for me, I might spend more time on that. But everyone's different. If you're doing this for a full-time gig, you might look at those numbers a little bit differently about like, how many likes do I have and am I getting a result from this that's monetary? So, it all depends what you're looking to get out of it. So.
One thing I'd say is that, I look at certain posts and I'll see, I get 90 impressions, and then the next one I have is 500, all right? That's telling you something about the content, all right? And I look at those things to see, what do my fans look to, what do they share,
Yeah.
Am I doing a good job? And you can see that, if you get your page turned on, you can see that right below every post. And I was always, if I have 500 fans, how come it's only going to 90 people, 90 impressions? And that's because Facebook is choosing for you. They're not
Yeah.
sending it out to all your friends unless
I know.
you turn the notifications on. If you turn your notifications on, you're going to see all
But
your
even
posts.
still, it doesn't
And
always.
It doesn't always do
so
that
that's,
even when you
so
do
that's
that.
the kind of thing that I look
Yeah.
at, in terms of getting feedback. Am I getting it out there, the message out there, the things people are interested in? And when it spikes up to, I think the most I've ever had is 5,000, all right? So it goes from one that only had 90 to one that has 5,000.
Yeah.
Obviously, that one's quite different than that. And you look at it, you can tell, now I know, the kinds of things people are interested in. So it tunes you in to the next things. If you're trying to cultivate a community of followers and fans who are really engaged, they're sharing it, they're liking it, all those kinds of things. And when they like it, it goes to their friends, that kind of engagement rolls down that you don't necessarily see, but you can tell by the number of impressions. Right?
Yeah, Facebook, we found that they didn't tell anybody about it, and when they changed it so that, and we talked about this in the first class, if you don't go to each individual person's page and click all updates, you will not get everybody's news
But even then,
feeds.
you still won't.
Yeah, and like I said, after I have a page for my dog, and because it's the kids can interact with each other on that page, and all our family is on that page, and I clicked all posts, and so then I go on her page, and there's only like 15 people on there. I still wasn't getting all my posts that I'm
Good
posting
test.
on my page, and I'm like, okay, so Facebook is arbitrarily saying, even though I asked for all posts from all my friends,
You know what I
still not
find?
doing it.
You know what does it for me is when I interact with someone on Facebook, then I start getting their posts.
Right.
So if you are,
Yeah, if you're not
seeing some of
interacting with
your
somebody,
friends,
yeah.
go say hi to them, and then they'll start showing.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard when you have
Yeah,
hundreds of
I
friends.
know.
Yeah, I got 525 people. I haven't even gone to everybody and done all
Sometimes
posts.
if I don't see it, you know, and it's
Right.
kind of heartbreaking, because it's like,
Yeah.
really? So,
Sometimes they get hidden, like I've
Yeah.
had that where I'll go through my friends and I go, oh, I haven't seen this person post in, you know, forever, and then there's that little button on that page. Sometimes I have to actually click show in my newsfeed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it'll
It's true.
take them.
yeah, because it says show some posts, it's automatically set up, and if you don't click show all posts, and if you don't want all posts, it gives you an option, you can click, I don't wanna see anybody's games. So you
My-
click off, the
Yeah.
uncheck the
You know,
games, and
and
you
my,
won't see.
my parting advice to you all is, you know, just always
I
check
wanna
those
look at
settings.
the lunch.
Yeah,
Like I said, spend an hour a month and just go through all your privacy and app
Somebody
settings.
Or leave it
and
going to
just
bed.
Make sure they're where you wanna be, you know, and that's really the best way to do it. Hey, all right,
Starting, I think.
we're ending.
Ending.
Sorry.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you, Ken.